How can we trust an organisation that's willing to behave this way? Hi everyone, Nemo here, with the Sydney Morning Herald reporting that the Mormon Church is significantly reducing its use of a controversial shell company after an investigation revealed it had engaged in alleged serious tax evasion in Australia. I wanted to look into this controversial shell company and let you know what's been causing all the fuss in the land down under. The bulk of the reporting on this issue has been done by the Sydney Morning Herald, who were part of a joint 6-month investigation and collaboration by The Age, the Sydney Morning Herald, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, and 60 Minutes. This culminated in a 60 Minutes episode airing in Australia, which sparked global media coverage. There's a link to that just down next to the donation link, where you can become a monthly donor and support this channel. You know, if you want. While reminding you all to keep in mind that correlation does not equal causation, the Australian donations fell from 90 million Australian dollars to 30 million Australian dollars from 2021 to 2022 respectively. The scrutiny of their tax structure and practices started in April 2022. The church has also not released any statement or explanation as to why the donations fell by 70% in 1 year. But let's take a step back and look at how all this started. In 2012, LDS Charities Australia came into being, and according to the Pacific Area Presidency, Australian charity law allows for individuals of any faith or of no faith affiliation who donate to a deductible gift recipient to receive a tax deduction. It would appear that the government encourages charitable donations because it helps the recipients, it lessens the burden on government, and it fosters a culture of giving. LDS Charities Australia was established for these reasons. It was set up and operates according to Australian law. Deductible Gift Recipient, or DGR, is a status bestowed upon a charity to allow those who donate to it to receive a tax deduction. The argument by the Pacific Area Presidency that donations to LDS Charities Australia lessens the burden on government is the first part of the controversy surrounding LDS Charities Australia.
But some believe the truth is it's actually run out of Mormon headquarters in America. And if that's the case, it would be illegal in Australia.
Under Australian law, if you're running a charity like this, you have to be managed or have the majority of your operations managed from Australia.
In order for an Australian charity to receive DGR status, it has to be just that, Australian. It can't be run from abroad. Essentially, it has to exist and operate in Australia. And this idea of American involvement is central to the complaint raised by Dr. Simon Southerton to the charity regulators in Australia. He has proposed the following based on his best approximation at how the money flows between the charities. $40 million goes from Australian tithes and offerings into LDS Charitable Trust Fund. Then $93 million goes out to LDS Charities Australia, but $65 million came in from Salt Lake City. And funnily enough, $40 million comes back out of LDS Charitable Trust Fund, $35 million going to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints Australia, and $5 million going to LDS Fast Offering Fund. If that's the case, we would be seeing the Australian tithes and fast offerings used exactly the same way as tithes and fast offerings in the rest of the world, but funneled through the charity structure to allow Australian members to receive tax deductions for charitable donations that would actually just be the funds used to keep the Australian church's lights on. And that would be a problem for the Australian government, who views tithes very differently from charitable donations or gifts. As Tax Office Assistant Commissioner Jeremy Hirschhorn said, "I'll also say as a general proposition, not talking about the specific taxpayer, that we do not view tithing as a gift, because a gift must be unconditional. Tithing, therefore, is not eligible for deductibility." The second part of the controversy is that LDS Charities as a whole overstated its charitable giving, according to the Sydney Morning Herald. In public statements, the church has claimed its global giving through its charity arm, Utah-based Latter-day Saint Charities, increased by $1.35 billion between 2008 and 2020. The church says it funds programs through organizations such as the Red Cross, Water for People, and the World Food Programme. But an analysis of the Latter-day Saint Charities' own accounts, which have never been released or reported previously, show it only provided $177 million in total charitable support over the same period, a discrepancy of $1.18 billion. I wonder if this reported overstatement of charitable giving could have the L. Todd Budge treatment applied to it. Anyone who knows our church knows we don't actually give that much to charity. It wasn't meant to be an accurate answer. It simply indicates we do not feel we have to declare how much charitable good we actually do. After all, that is the logic at play when he said to the Wall Street Journal regarding Ensign Peak's 2007 federal tax return, anyone familiar with the church would know its assets exceed $1 million. It wasn't an accurate answer. It wasn't meant to be an accurate answer. It was simply meant to communicate that we do not feel that we're obliged to fill in that box. L. Todd Budge's comments and admission that they didn't intend to accurately fill out the tax documents puts a question mark over the honesty of any financial figure the church puts out, because we know they are willing to not give accurate figures on at least one type of declaration. How can we trust the LDS Church to tell us, as its members, let alone the public or the government, the truth on any sort of facts or statistics? Not only are the church's finances not transparent, but the Sydney Morning Herald is reporting a $1.18 billion discrepancy between the amount publicly stated and the actual amount of charitable good being done. Finally, L. Todd Budge admitted that they don't always accurately fill out tax filings, nor do they feel that they have to. In my opinion, it all adds up to the appearance of a corporate church that is willing to tell the public, the government, and its own members one thing when the truth is something else entirely. How can we trust an organisation that's willing to behave this way? Let me know what you think below the like button.